What he want to do?
Terence Crawford's 37. Devin Heaney said he thinks he would like him to retire. Do you agree with that statement?
He can do whatever he wants to do. He's been dominating for a long time too, so he can do whatever he wants to do. I would like to see him retire because it'd be hard for anybody to top that, and they just put him on the top 5 list, and he didn't stay there because he ain't able to beat.
Last question. Is Terence Crawford the greatest of all time?
Absolutely greatest of all time.
Where does he rank?
I don't know, but he's not the greatest of all time. Absolutely greatest of all time.
Roy Jones Jr. just flipped Crawford's whole career blueprint upside down. Everyone is screaming for a Canelo rematch, money, revenge, history, but Roy? He's pointing Crawford toward a different destiny. A path that almost nobody predicted except him. There's one name Roy says Crawford must conquer to complete his legacy: Erislandy Lara. This isn't about another belt, this is about sealing the one gap Crawford never touched. Roy says Lara isn't just an opponent, he's the last missing piece of history.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there and take that blueprint and do even more with it.
To understand why Roy Jones Jr. is pushing for this specific move.
To get why Roy wants this fight, you have to see Crawford's timeline: 135, 140,147,154, and then he skipped straight to 168 to dethrone Canelo. Do you see it? He never touched 160. Roy says that's the missing chapter. Going back isn't a step down, it's a master move. If Crawford wins at middleweight, the story becomes complete. That's how you become the greatest fighter of your generation.
I don't know. I mean, I think he may want to go get a middleweight title because he skipped over that. He went dream middleweight. No, he went dream middleweight, then went super middleweight. So he may go back and just capture middleweight title to close the gap, like I wished I would have did with the cruiserweight title. So I think he does that, and that's it.
For years, middleweight has been silent, overshadowed by bigger stars at 168. But Roy says that silence is the opportunity. The champions at 160 are dangerous, but they aren't global icons. That gives Crawford leverage. He won't need to beg for the fight. He'll walk into the division as the hunter, not the challenger. Roy believes 160 is where history is waiting to be stolen.
I did want to ask you about Terence Crawford as well.
Yeah.
A lot going on with him at the moment. No one knows his next move.
Right.
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60 and you close it off. That's fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see in the future
I
for him?
don't know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really... I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that.
And this is where everything changes. December 6th, 2025. The night the division decides its king. Janibek Alimkanyeli versus Erislandy Lara. WBO plus IBF versus WBA 3 belts. One winner. On one side, Janibek, the avoided puncher from Kazakhstan. On the other, Lara, the veteran genius who still sharpens champions. Whoever wins becomes the target. Because that fighter is holding Crawford's destiny.
Age-wise, of course, everybody's going to say Erislandy Lara because he's 40. Mm-hmm. But I would never come out of my mouth and call Erislandy Lara a weak link. Mm-hmm. I think there's no elite fighters at 160.
Mm-hmm. Janibek may be the young monster, but don't ignore Lara. Roy knows Lara is the one opponent who matches Crawford's brain. Southpaw versus southpaw. IQ versus IQ. A fight that's not about power, it's about levels. If Lara survives Janibek and becomes unified champion, that's the showdown Roy wants. Lara once frustrated Canelo, and Crawford could use that as another statement win.
Bud's like my brother. I've been with him for the past probably 7 camps. He's taken 0 shortcuts. He's always 100% to himself. He never cheats himself, so. We're just in a routine. We know what happens. We come out here, just pass the time working out. Pass as fast. You work out so many times a day and get to it, you're working the whole time.
And Crawford isn't waiting for the middleweight picture to clear. He already made a move. He showed up at the WBO convention, sitting right next to Janibek's team, looked into the camera and said, "I got my eyes on you." Whether it was a message or a threat, one thing is clear. Crawford is already circling 160.
My guts say the same thing. I'm gonna sit down with my team and we're gonna discuss what's next in the future for Terence Crawford. And who knows? I might go down to 160.
Johnny, we're here next. Looking for you. Looking for December 6th, how you gonna do it.
I got my eyes on you, Jennifer.
That clip confirmed everything Roy predicted. Crawford is hunting the middleweight champions. He knows the winner of the December 6th fight holds his 6th division crown, and he wants them to feel the pressure. Then comes the most controversial part of Roy's plan to forget Canelo. Roy says the rematch does nothing for Crawford. If he wins, they'll say Canelo was injured. If he loses, it damages the first victory. Either way, Crawford loses more than he gains.
To catch up at Canelo Crawford, I just want to get your reflections on that fight first.
It was a great fight by Crawford. Fought a very smart fight, just like I thought he would. The only problem I had was I was worried about his shoulder because some stuff came out about his shoulder being sore. So I didn't know about that. But if he didn't have any injuries, I knew it would be an easy walk for him.
Are you surprised by just how kind of confident and comfortable Terence was in there at all?
No, not at all. Because if you watch Canelo struggles with guys that can box. Terence can box from both sides, left-handed or right-handed. So how could you be surprised?
So there's a lot of talk about what next for both men. With Canelo Alvarez, where do you think he goes from here?
I don't know. I think they're trying to have a rematch, so I don't know.
Do you think he can right the wrongs in a rematch?
I don't think so, no.
Roy wants Crawford to chase immortality, not another payday. Winning a belt at 160 puts him in a club almost nobody has entered. Pacquiao de La Hoya, and Crawford points 6 divisions. That's the kind of greatness that never fades. Roy sees what's at stake because he lived it. He knows how history is written, and he knows Crawford is one step away from joining boxing's gods.
Roy, but in terms of a fantasy fight, if you'd have ever shared the ring with a 168 version of Terence Crawford, would that have been an intriguing matchup?
Not really. I like Terence. Terence is a very good fighter. But Terence grew up on Roy Jones. It's hard to tell you these guys are going to whoop Roy Jones when they grew up and they still asking questions to Roy Jones about how he did things. So they don't fully understand Roy Jones yet either. So it's hard to beat Roy Jones if you don't fully understand him yet. You understand me? So I mean, it's cool. He's a great fighter, don't get it wrong. And it would have been an intriguing fight because he has a heart and he has confidence. And he's a very challenging guy. That's what I like about him the most. That's why I knew he'd beat Canelo, because he stands up to the challenge. So he would have been something to deal with for a few rounds earlier. But I was a different guy. I was much faster than 90% of people I fought. You understand me? So it's like, with my speed level and with the precision and things, even him, I had him training yesterday. I watched him put together some 4 and 5 punch combinations, and I think it shocked him because of how quick he can do it. So it's not about necessarily talent. It's talent too, but you gotta have know-how with talent. I had know-how along with talent. That's what this kid has.
So here Crawford stands 2 paths in front of him. 1 is a huge paycheck and another Canelo war. The other is the road. Roy Jones Jr. is demanding he take the road to the final missing belt, the fight that completes the legacy.
Yeah, for sure. But it's still, when you look at it, it's still excuses. Like I said before the fight, every one of my biggest fights, I say, I'm gonna be prepared for the excuses. When you so great and you so much ahead of your competition, they look at the fighters that you fight and say they nobodies because how much you beat them by or the level of skills that you oppose against them. So when I fight this guy, it's all he was a nobody. When I fight this guy, all he was washed. When I fight this guy, it's an excuse, So who you want me to fight? I beat this guy, it's an excuse. I beat this guy, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really gonna give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. We really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, and the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed or Canelo just wasn't in it. And I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, so I just think, when you that much better than the competition, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man,
I'm not going to judge Crawford over his last performance from Canelo because there was I don't care what a person say. They could say that Canelo's washed up. They say this. They say past his prime. Yada yada yada. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how he executed the plan and how he neutralized the threat. So he did a phenomenal job with that. Bowman came up with a great game plan for that. I really believe that Janibek can get outboxed. I think he's going to get outboxed. He goes into 160. It's all going to determine on how he look against Lara. Because Lara is a crafty southpaw. And remember, I said this to you before with William Skull and Canelo. I said if he struggles against William Skull and he boxes him, it's going to just keep the blueprint solid for Crawford. So it's one of those things. So Crawford is a nice southpaw. He's solid. He knows how to utilize a lot of things. And it's like little details that maybe some of the casuals don't see, like how he positioned his foot, how he made Canelo smother his shots and still gave Canelo better exchanges in the inside. There was a lot of high caliber. Like you can tell why he deserves to be in that stage. But I got him boxing Janibek, and then after that, just walk away.
Well done. Right, so what's next for both fighters? Let's start with Terence Crawford. Where does he go? He's just stepped up to 168 pounds and beat quite conclusively Canelo Alvarez there. And there's no one really now at super middleweight for him to test. Benavidez, he's gone up to light heavyweight. There's no one really in there. We saw Skull against Canelo, and Skull was quite slow and couldn't do much. I know Canelo stood off and didn't really stick it on him, but Skull showed no ambition. Not a fight I want to see. I think really the only fight for both of these guys, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, is the rematch. Because where does Canelo go from here now? He's got a guy stepping up from welterweight, serving him up a bit of a whooping, because that's what it was. And now he's got, like, where does he go? He can't really compete up at light heavyweight because Bivol's done him. Benavidez has gone up to there now, and I don't think that's a fight he's going to fancy. I feel like a lot of people are saying he swerved that Benavidez fight, so I don't think he's going to want to go up to light heavyweight and fight him. So it's like the only sensible option, or the only real option, is the rematch. And that's the same for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's now 168 pounds. Who does he fight? Who does he go for next? It's difficult. There's no other real big names. I mean, there's a kid in England called Hamza Shiraz who's tapping on the door for something big. And I had a chat with him yesterday, and he's talking about the Canelo fight, and he'd take that. But realistically, is Canelo Alvarez or Terence Crawford going to want to jump in with Hamza Shiraz? I mean, Shiraz has got a great future ahead of him. I think he's going to do really well. But he's not in that mix, is he? If he gets an opportunity, go for it. Don't think Crawford would be interested. Canelo, it does nothing for him. So these two, really, the only fight for him is the rematch.
Is Canelo done after this? And if he's not, he has 2 more fights with Turki Al-Sheikh. What other 2 fights can we see from him?
When it's funny because when people ask me, are fighters done or this and that, I could never answer for a fighter if they're done or not, because it's a very personal decision from the fighter, including Canelo. As much as I hate him, actually, I don't hate, I just don't care for him. But if he wants to fight again or if he doesn't, that's obviously his decision. I have to respect that. So, but obviously, look, again, Crawford just took him to school. That's basically it. That's the bottom line. I mean, Crawford is older than Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, oh, well, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford. And I really don't know where Canelo goes, seriously.